Hello everybody, I am Realm Builder Guy, and welcome to my very first Crusader Kings 3 guide, entitled 5 Fun Starts in 1066. So, very catchy title there, but yes, I'm going to go into 5 characters to start off your next Crusader Kings 3 campaign with. They may not be the most powerful or oddly exploited or anything like that. I just find their stories interesting, and that's one thing Crusader Kings 3 is a lot about, is about the stories, the people, the characters, and immersing yourself in your campaign, in your save. And I feel like one of these 5, or actually all 5 of these characters, could do that for you right from the get-go. So without much further ado, let's get going. So first on the list is Duke Mile Snektai Maklulak of Moray. 18 years old, unmarried. The beauty of this is the fact that he is 18, he is unmarried, so you can plan your path pretty nicely. Now you're sitting as arguably either you or the Duke of Lothian, the most powerful vassal in the Kingdom of Scotland at 1066. Now he's a flamboyant trickster, zealous, arrogant, and ambitious, so definitely going an intrigue route is worth it here with the Duke of Moray. He also has pretty good martial, he's okay at intrigue, but you can kind of go along those roads. Now, why did I pick Duke Mal Snekton? Well, he is actually, if we take a look at it here in a second, a descendant. If we open the dynasty tree here, and we scroll up, you can see a certain Macbethid, MacDonada, yeah, I said it right, Lauren. Yes, that is the infamous Macbeth. The Macbeth from Shakespearean lore. So he is a descendant of Macbeth, and he has a claim on the Kingdom of Scotland, a pressed claim. So we look at a pressed claim, are considered legally strong and are inherited as unsuppressed claims by the children of the claimant. So if you don't become, if this young duke, ambitious duke, does not become King of Scotland, his heirs will inherit that claim. So again, the crown of Scotland is yours, but keep a few things in mind. You have powerful Norwegians to the north, and England is just about ready for William the Conqueror to invade and usurp the throne from northern France. So all of that leads you to a rather precarious and interesting position. Now you can quickly gobble up a lot of other titles in Scotland before you face off with the king and press your claim there. But the Isles here are technically ripe for the picking, but they are allied with the Kingdom of Norway, which is very, very strong. So keep all that in mind. It's definitely an intrigue game, and because he's 18 and he's not married yet, you can really plot your path with Duke Mal Snektai Maclulach of Moray. Next, we head off to the Holy Roman Empire and to Count Friedrich of Ravensburg in the Duchy of Swabia. He's a two-county count. And here's the key thing, Hohenstaufen. So the Hohenstaufen family, in case you're not aware of this, is one of the most famous German noble lineages in history. At this point, he's just a minor noble. But the Hohenstaufens not only rise to fame over time, but they are one of the most influential crusading families, with not one but 2 of basically Count Friedrich's descendants going off to crusade. One of the most famous is Friedrich Barbarossa, Frederick Barbarossa, who was not only king, but he was emperor as of 1155. Then there was also his son, Henry VI, who was emperor after that as well. Then you had Philip of Swabia, who was king. Frederick II, another famous crusading emperor. He was the emperor of the Holy Roman Empire, and also king of Italy. Then we had kings of Sicily and dukes of Swabia. Very long living monarchy. But the other interesting thing is the last Holy Roman emperor and king from the Hohenstaufen was Conrad IV. Until 1254, he was no longer emperor, and then there was a 20-year interregnum where nobody was in charge of the Holy Roman Empire as an emperor before the first Habsburg came in. And so, of course, the Habsburg dynasty is very well known, and they're just down here, actually in Switzerland, in, I believe, Bern or somewhere right down here. But anyway, you're up here at Hohenstaufen, Friedrich von Ravensburg. The nice thing about him, he's 18, just like our previous character. He's unmarried, so you can pick your path. And he's got a ton of siblings who can also inherit. They are not married either, so you can marry them off. You can marry off your widowed mother. You have 2 straight titles, so it's an intrigue game as well. He is an amateurish plotter. Now, he is just, which hurts intrigue, but he's also deceitful, which helps intrigue, and he's calm, which helps intrigue. So it's an intrigue game to first overthrow the powers that be in Swabia, and then if you go out from there to take over the Holy Roman Empire. So Count Friedrich of Hohenstaufen, he also has a very strong army to start off with, so that's something to keep in mind there as well. So next we head to the southern part of the Arabian Peninsula, to Emir Fadl ibn Jafar of the Rashid Emirate in Yemen, really. There you can see a 26-year-old Fadl ibn Jafar. He is unmarried. He has a sibling, so there is an heir, but he is unmarried. So again, you can plot your path. 3 titles, so aside from the Emirate of Rashid, you've got the Sheikhdom of Sana'a and the Sheikhdom of Najran, sorry for the pronunciation. So why did I pick Emir Fadl ibn Jafar? Well, the Rashids were actually the house that ruled Yemen, the royal house of Yemen, until 1962, believe it or not. The other thing is they were the head of the Zaidi faith. So Zaidism, so far I don't know, there may be other ones in the game, but high Muslim fervor. They are of a branch, an organized Muslim faith. So that's very, very unique. He's also Yemeni as well. But he's got Sayyid, that's basically the faith, so same faith opinion plus 5, it can be inherited, and a higher level of fervor. Now he's a holy warrior, a brilliant strategist, wrathful, craven, which kind of sucks, and content, but he's got great martial skills, decent learning skills. The main thing here will be fighting off against the Sulayids. Now the Sulayids, they are Ismaili organized faith. So you're going against another man here who is Yemeni, but not of your faith, a great military strategist and a bigger realm. So the first thing you're going to want to do is kind of maybe gobble up some of your Bedouin neighbors, and keep in mind that you've also got some guys here to the north to keep an eye on. So you need to expand and gobble up some of your smaller neighbors first, but you need to build up your military as you're only 655 to start off with. But it's just very unique because historically, again, this is actually the family that ruled Yemen for, gosh, about 1,000 years. And the fact that you're of Sayyid faith gives you some interesting things to do there as well. Unmarried, no children, so the world is your oyster. You can do a lot with this and kind of build a power base down here before you have to look north to the Fatimids or the Seljuk Empire. And you're far enough away down here. I mean, you can also branch across here. You can see there are routes here to get into the Horn of Africa, but just focus on building here for now. And now we have traveled to Central Asia to Beg Muhammad Abazde of Gur. Now he's Tajik, and another organized Muslim faith with high fervor in Maturidism. And the reason why the Gur is interesting, now they are part of the Ghaznavid Sultanate. So you have a sultan ahead of you who is Uguz, so he's a different culture group than you are. But the key thing is you supply more than half of the military strength to your liege. So you are in a position where you could declare your independence and try to overthrow your liege lord. Now, the historical implication here between the Ghurids were actually the leaders of this area before the Ghaznavids came in, conquered them, and subjugated them. But then the Ghurids overthrew the Ghaznavid rulers and built their own empire here. So that's the interesting thing here. Now, he is a theologian and a mastermind philosopher. He's also greedy, so your income comes up. So you can see here he is learning. So you need to build a power base here. You do have an heir in your son here, so you've got one child. He's unmarried, he's 46, so get married to a young lass, get a few more kids, and build a power base here to overthrow basically your conquering liege lords and build a nice power base here. Now you have to keep in mind, you've got Sumra, there's some decent power here. You've got the Indian subcontinent below you or just to your southeast to expand into, but you've got to keep an eye on those Seljuks who are right on your border. So time your War of Independence well. Ideally, when the Seljuks are conquering somewhere else and not really looking at their eastern border, and maybe even, you know, weakening of your Ghaznavid liege lords, build some strength and alliances around you to help you throw off the shackles of oppression. And last, but certainly not least, we go to the last Carling, Count Herbert of Vermandois, Catholic French. He is a subject to the Capetian King of France, right on the border to the Holy Roman Empire. And yes, he is a Carling. He is the last Carling. He doesn't have a claim on the French crown, but in his heart, he feels he is. Now, he is very high on learning. He's pretty decent point spread. Insightful thinker. He's cynical, temperate, arrogant, and lustful. So maybe pop out a few more kids and a few more heirs. Now, this is arguably the most difficult start of the 5 that I picked. But the reason why I picked him, of course, he is the last descendant of Charlemagne. He at least feels, and this is how you can play, to bring about the Frankish Charlemagne Empire back to its former glory by taking Count Herbert. Now, again, very small. It's one county, not a lot of military strength. So you're going to, this is, I'm not going to say for the more advanced player, but definitely someone who knows what he's doing, because it's not easy. Now, the nice thing is you can gobble up a few of the holdings around you, maybe even venture into the Holy Roman Empire, even though I wouldn't necessarily recommend that. Keep an eye on the Duke of Flanders, very, very wealthy, so maybe marry somehow into there. And again, he is the only married one on this list, so you're already tied down there, but your children are not. So keep an eye on that. You already have 2 kids, and maybe as lustful, that boosts your fertility. If you're only 34, you can maybe get a few more kids. But the last Carling definitely has a lot of role play option for you, but it is the most difficult one out of these 5 fun starts here for Crusader Kings 3. So I hope you enjoyed this quick little Crusader Kings 3 guide to 5 fun starts in 1066. Now, we'll be doing for 867 and maybe more regional guides, and show you, a guide to Scandinavia or Britain or Byzantine Empire and so on. But for now, 5 fun starts. I may be starting a campaign with one of these as well. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Will you be picking one of them? Who have you started with in Crusader Kings 3? And let me know your stories. Don't forget to like and subscribe. The like helps this fledgling channel grow. The subscription does as well, and that way you don't miss out on any content, Crusader Kings 3 or otherwise, here on the channel. Until next time, I am Realm Builder Guy, and I will talk to you soon.